I met Laura at a startup networking event in Boston. She wasn't just beautiful. She was sharp, funny, the kind of woman who could challenge you in every conversation but still make you laugh a minute later. I'd just started my second company at that time, deep in patent work for a new energy storage design. She worked in marketing, and unlike most people I met back then, she didn't look at me like I was a paycheck waiting to happen. Or at least, that's what I thought. We clicked fast. Within a year, we moved in together. Within 2, we got married. It was the kind of story people called meant to be. Friends said we were that couple that made marriage look easy. And honestly, for a long time, it was. She believed in me. At least I believed she did. When I was up late soldering prototypes, she'd bring me coffee. When one of my projects failed, she told me I was destined for bigger things. Her support felt genuine. I trusted her completely. Then, as my company started gaining traction, she began changing in small, quiet ways that were easy to overlook. At first, it was harmless stuff. She'd stay late at work more often, saying the marketing firm had a new client. Then came the sudden obsession with privacy. Her phone was always flipped screen down. Notifications muted. "It's just work emails," she said when I asked. I told myself she deserved trust. That's what a good husband does, right? You don't snoop. You don't accuse. You believe. But something inside me, something quiet and stubborn, started whispering that the woman I'd married wasn't fully there anymore. It's weird how hindsight sharpens the smallest details. The late-night showers. The new perfume I never bought her. The sudden gym membership. None of it screamed affair on its own, but together, it started painting a picture I didn't want to see. I buried myself in work. My company was finally close to licensing one of our patents. Investors were circling. Every day, I convinced myself I was just being paranoid. That she loved me, that we were fine, that I just needed sleep. But I was wrong. The night that proved it started like any other. She came home late, claiming she'd been with her team. She kissed me on the cheek, barely making eye contact. Her perfume hit me first. It wasn't the one she used to wear. Then I noticed the faint red mark on her collarbone, half hidden by her blouse. My brain refused to accept what my eyes saw. I told myself maybe it was from a seatbelt. Or maybe she scratched herself. Anything but what it looked like. That night, when she went to shower, I sat on the couch staring at her unlocked laptop. I'd never touched it before. Never needed to. But I did that night. And what I found, well, that was the start of everything unraveling. Her laptop screen glowed in the dark, and for a moment, my reflection looked foreign, tired, nervous, guilty. I hesitated. My hands shook. I knew that once I opened it, once I looked, I couldn't go back to pretending. Her email was already open. The last tab she'd used. A conversation titled Presentation Revisions. Totally harmless. But the messages weren't about work. Not even close. At first, they were subtle. Inside jokes, compliments, emojis that said too much without saying anything at all. Then it escalated. They were meeting up for late strategy sessions that weren't about marketing. He wrote things like, "Last night was worth the risk," and "You looked perfect leaving his house." That one almost made me drop the laptop. My stomach twisted. I couldn't breathe. My heart wasn't pounding. It was crawling, dragging itself through the realization that my wife, the woman who'd held my hand through every failed prototype and empty bank account, was with someone else. I clicked his name. A coworker. Married. The kind of guy who always liked her posts online. He'd even come to our house once for dinner. I remembered pouring him a drink while she laughed at his jokes. It felt like my memories were turning against me, rewriting themselves in real time. I didn't confront her that night. I couldn't. She came out of the shower humming softly, wrapped in a towel, her face glowing from the steam. She smiled at me like nothing had happened. And that smile, the ease of it, hurt more than anything. I spent the next few days in autopilot. I went to work, kept quiet, played the loving husband while I planned my next move. I wasn't just angry. I was methodical. Years of running a business had taught me patience and control, two things she didn't know I still had. I copied everything from her laptop onto a flash drive. Screenshots, messages, photos, timestamps. I didn't know yet what I'd do with it, but I knew I'd need it. Around the same time, my company finalized negotiations with a major tech conglomerate. My patent, the one I'd poured my entire soul into, was about to sell for over $100 million. The deal wasn't public yet. Only my lawyer and I knew. And that's when I realized something chilling. Laura had been distant ever since she overheard a call about upcoming valuation. She didn't ask about the project, but she'd started asking about our joint accounts, our shared assets, my will. She wasn't planning to come clean. She was waiting for the deal to go through. I stopped sleeping properly after that. Every time she smiled at me, I wondered if she was calculating. Every kiss felt like part of an exit plan. Then, one morning, she left for a team retreat. 3 days. No calls. No messages. I didn't even try to reach her. I'd already arranged a quiet meeting with my lawyer to adjust some paperwork she'd never see coming. By the time she came home, I had my proof. And a plan. Because if she was preparing to leave me, I was going to make sure she did it with nothing but regret. She came home from that team retreat, acting like she'd just come back from paradise. Sun-kissed skin, new clothes, a gift bag from the hotel. She didn't even bother to hide it. I remember standing there in the kitchen, watching her unpack souvenirs for the team. None for me. She chatted casually, told me about the presentations and bonding exercises, never noticing how quiet I was. I had the flash drive in my pocket the whole time. It felt heavy, like it was burning through the fabric. That night, she went to bed early. I sat on the couch, scrolling through the photos she'd posted on social media. One of them caught my eye, a reflection in a wine glass. Not of her, but of him. The same guy from her emails. The one who called her babe in work threads. I finally decided I'd had enough pretending. I went upstairs, stood in the doorway, and said, "How was your retreat, Laura?" She turned, half asleep. "Exhausting. You should have come next time." "Maybe your boss wouldn't like that," I said. That made her pause. She sat up slowly, squinting at me. "What's that supposed to mean?" I didn't answer. I just tossed the flash drive onto the bed. She stared at it for a second before reaching for it, and when her face changed, when she realized what it was, something inside me finally went still. She whispered, "You went through my computer?" "No," I said quietly. "I went through our life." Her eyes filled with anger, not guilt. "You invaded my privacy." I actually laughed. "You destroyed our marriage, and you're worried about privacy?" She tried to twist it, to make me doubt myself. Said the emails were misunderstood, that it was emotional support, that I was jealous because I'm insecure. Every word she said sounded rehearsed, like she'd practiced her excuses long before I found them. I didn't yell. I didn't curse. I just said, "You know what's funny? I was about to tell you we made it. The patent sold." Her expression froze. "What?" "I closed the deal last week. 101 million. She blinked fast, trying to calculate what that meant for her. For us. And in that moment, she didn't even hide it. Her panic wasn't about losing me. It was about losing the money. I leaned closer. "But you won't see a cent. You've been removed from every joint account, every document, every asset. The ink's already dry." Her lips parted, trembling now. "You can't do that." "I already did." She sat there speechless, her perfect image cracking under the weight of reality. Then I picked up a single envelope from the dresser, divorce papers I'd had prepared quietly while she was gone. I placed them in her lap. "Sign them," I said. "You're free now. Isn't that what you wanted?" For a moment, I thought she might throw them at me. But instead, she broke, crying, shaking, begging me to talk, to rethink it. I walked to the door. "Laura," I said, "you've already served your sentence. I'm just giving you the paperwork." The morning after I gave her the divorce papers, she acted like nothing had happened. She brewed coffee, wore one of my shirts, even hummed softly while making breakfast. It was surreal, like she thought if she ignored the wreckage, it might vanish on its own. I sat across the table, watching her pour my coffee, hands trembling just slightly. She said, "I didn't mean for things to get this bad, you know. We just drifted. I still love you." I almost laughed. "You love what I became, Laura. You loved the comfort, the house, the idea of being married to the next big thing." She didn't deny it, just bit her lip and looked away. That day, my lawyer delivered her copy of the financial documents. Every asset, every share, every account was under my name. Her face when she opened that folder, it was the first time I saw real fear. Not because she was losing me, but because she realized she'd been outplayed. For weeks she tried everything. Flowers, long texts about our memories, apologies written like essays. Even showed up at my office once, pretending she just wanted to talk. Security had to escort her out. Then she tried sympathy. You can't end a marriage like it's a business deal, she cried one night, standing at my doorstep. Funny, I said. You ended it like a marketing campaign. After that, she got quiet. Too quiet. That silence lasted until one afternoon when my lawyer called, chuckling. You'll like this, he said. Your wife just tried to file for half of your company. Claims she contributed emotionally to your inventions. I sighed. Of course she did. The irony was almost poetic. She didn't know that I'd already transferred ownership to a holding trust weeks before our argument. Legally, I owned nothing she could touch. It took about a month for her to realize she was cornered. That's when she sent me the last message I ever got from her. You think you won, but you'll regret this when you're alone. I didn't reply, because she was wrong. I wasn't alone. I had peace. Something she'd stripped from me long before the betrayal even began. The sale closed officially 2 weeks later. The final wire transfer hit my account, $101 million. My lawyer sent me a one-line text. Congratulations, Mr. Hart. You're free, in every sense. That night, as I watched the sunset from the balcony of the house I'd soon sell, my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. A voicemail. Her voice, trembling, broken. He left me. I made a mistake. Please, can we just talk? I deleted it, because I'd already spent years listening. 3 months passed before I heard her name again. By then, the world had changed around me. I'd moved into a modern apartment downtown, minimalist, quiet. No traces of her perfume, no framed photos of a fake marriage. I was traveling for meetings, fielding calls from investors, figuring out what life looked like when you suddenly had more money than time. Then, one evening, my doorman buzzed. There's a woman here asking for you. Says it's urgent. My chest tightened. Name? Laura. I hadn't said her name out loud in months. When I went down, she was standing in the lobby wearing the same winter coat she'd had for years, though it hung differently now, like she'd lost weight. She looked human, not polished, not made up, just tired. Can we talk? She asked quietly. I nodded, mostly out of curiosity. We sat in the small lounge area. She started slow, her voice low and shaking. He's gone. The guy from work. He got fired, moved states. I lost my job too. I can't even pay rent. I stayed silent. She looked up, tears on her face. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't know what I was thinking. You were building something real. I thought I wanted more, but you were the more. It was strange. Hearing her cry didn't hurt like it used to. It just felt hollow. I asked why now. She hesitated. Because I have nothing left. And I guess I hoped you still cared. There it was, the truth, raw and unfiltered. She didn't come back out of love. She came back out of loss. I leaned forward. Laura, you didn't just destroy what we had. You cashed it in. You bet against me, and you lost. Her tears stopped. Maybe because she realized I wasn't angry anymore. Just done. Before she left, she reached into her purse and pulled out a crumpled letter. I wrote this months ago, she whispered. Didn't have the courage to send it. I didn't take it. I don't need your apologies in ink. She nodded, defeated. Then she looked at me one last time and said, You were always better than I knew how to love. And with that, she walked out. The next morning, I found the letter slid under my door. I didn't open it, just tossed it in the trash. Not out of bitterness, out of closure. Because the man she betrayed died the night I found those emails. The man who stood here now had everything she once thought I'd never reach. Peace, purpose, and power. And I didn't need her to see it. I'd already won. The thing about freedom is, it doesn't feel how you imagine it will. You think it'll be loud, triumphant, champagne popping, laughter echoing off marble floors. But for me, it was quiet. Too quiet at first. After Laura left that night, the silence in my apartment felt heavy. No footsteps, no humming, no scent of coffee in the morning. Just space, and my thoughts. I used to think I missed her. But I realized what I missed was the version of me that existed before I found out who she really was. Money doesn't fix that kind of ache. Still, it buys time to rebuild. So I started over. Slowly, methodically. I put half the sale money into a trust and the other half into research. Not startups, not tech, people. I began funding small inventors, the kind of dreamers I used to be. Folks who worked out of garages, who stayed up till 3 a.m., soldering parts and sketching on napkins. I didn't care about return. I just wanted to give them what I never had, a chance without strings attached. It gave me purpose again, My name started appearing in articles. The quiet millionaire who funds forgotten innovators. But that never mattered to me. What mattered was waking up and not feeling like everything I built came from bitterness. One afternoon, while reviewing proposals at a cafe, I heard a laugh from the next table. That sound, light, unforced, cut through the noise in my head. I turned slightly. A woman sat there, laptop open, hair tied back, glasses slipping down her nose as she argued softly with someone over a design concept. She reminded me of who Laura pretended to be in the beginning. Passionate, curious, alive. Our eyes met briefly. She smiled, genuine, unguarded, then went back to her work. It wasn't love at first sight or any cliché like that, but it was the first time in years that I didn't feel haunted. That night, I opened my journal for the first time since the divorce and wrote, "Peace isn't found in what you win or what you lose. It's in what you choose not to carry anymore." For the first time in a long time, I meant it. Laura faded from my life completely after that. No calls, no letters, no mutual friends. She became a ghost, and I let her stay that way. And while the world still saw me as the guy who sold the patent for $101 million, I saw myself as something else. Just a man who learned, painfully and honestly, that success means nothing if you don't have peace to match it. The money? It changed everything. But forgiveness, that changed me. 5 years. That's how long it took before her name crossed my path again. By then, my life looked nothing like the ruins she'd left behind. I had new projects, a quiet house by the water, and someone who genuinely cared, not about my money or achievements, but about the kind of person I was when the world wasn't watching. Her name was Claire. We met through one of the inventors I funded. She had her own design firm and this uncanny ability to read people without making them feel small. Being with her didn't feel like walking on glass. It felt steady, grounded, safe. Then one evening, we went to a charity gala for young entrepreneurs. I was standing near the bar, listening to Claire talk about a mentorship program she was launching, when a familiar voice floated from behind me. Soft, hesitant. "Ethan." I froze. Turned. Laura. She looked older, thinner, worn down in ways that went beyond age. Her hair was shorter now, her dress elegant but dated, like it came from another era. And the way she looked at me, it wasn't with regret anymore. It was recognition, the realization that I'd truly moved on. "Wow," she whispered. "You look good." "Thanks," I said simply. "How have you been?" She gave a small, bitter laugh. "Surviving, I guess. Marketing didn't work out after. Well, everything. Been doing freelance work. It's not easy." I nodded, polite but distant. Claire returned just then, smiling as she looped her arm around mine. "Hey, they're announcing your scholarship fund." Laura's eyes flicked between us. Her voice trembled slightly. "You got married?" "Not yet," Claire said warmly, before I could answer. "But we're happy. Really happy." Laura's lips twitched into something that was almost a smile, but not quite. She said, "I'm glad, Ethan. You deserve that." "I just wish," she trailed off. I waited. Wish what? That I'd understood what I had before I threw it away. For a second, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. But some things don't need fixing. They need letting go. I said softly, "You didn't just lose a marriage, Laura. You lost a man who would have done anything for you. There's a difference." She blinked, nodded once, and turned away. I watched her disappear into the crowd, just another face in a room full of strangers. The same woman who once knew every corner of my soul was now part of a past that no longer hurt. Claire squeezed my hand. "You okay?" I smiled. "Yeah, perfectly." And for the first time, I realized I wasn't just saying it. I was living it. When they called my name on stage to present the new grant program, I looked out at the audience, faces full of hope, energy, hunger for a better life, and thought, this is what legacy looks like. Not revenge, not regret, just peace, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing that when life handed me betrayal, I turned it into purpose. That night after the gala, I sat out on the balcony with Claire asleep inside, city lights flickering below. The kind of silence that used to suffocate me now felt like breathing. I thought about how strange it all was, how betrayal had once been the worst thing that ever happened to me, but also the reason I became the man sitting here now. Back then, I'd thought revenge was justice, that making her feel small would make me feel whole. But it didn't. The day she signed those divorce papers, I didn't feel victorious. I felt empty. Like I'd spent years chasing someone else's definition of worth. The money changed my life, sure. It gave me freedom, comfort, control. But what really mattered was what came after. The slow rebuilding of something I didn't even know I'd lost. Self-respect. And forgiveness. Not the kind that excuses what she did, but the kind that stops letting it own me. People always say time heals everything, but that's not true. Time doesn't heal. It just gives you space to decide what you're willing to carry forward. I left the anger behind, the humiliation, even the pride. Now, when I think of her, there's no fire left. Just quiet gratitude that she left when she did. Because if she hadn't, I might still be the man who needed her approval to feel like enough. I closed my eyes that night and thought of the version of myself who stayed awake until 3 a.m., soldering wires and believing someone was waiting upstairs who loved him. He deserved peace. And somehow, through the chaos, he found it. So when people ask what it felt like to sell a patent for $101 million, I tell them the truth. It didn't feel like victory. It felt like closure. Because when he served the divorce papers, I'd already moved past everything she thought she was taking from me. He served the divorce papers, and I'd just sold the patent for $101 million. But what I really gained was freedom. And that, I wouldn't trade for anything.